Let's go to Seattle. 4 games in 3 days. A game Monday night at 9:40. A game Tuesday at 6:10, and then a nightcap following that. And then the season finale is going to be Wednesday at 4:10. So let's get into some pitching matchups, and then we will talk also about the Detroit Tigers and how they match up with the Seattle Mariners. Now listen, I know that you know that the Mariners are a very good baseball team. They have secured a playoff spot for the first time in 20 plus years, on a walk-off home run hit by Cal Raleigh. And the call that their play-by-play guy made was phenomenal. I saw it on TikTok last night, and I was like, oh my gosh, this is exactly how you're supposed to call baseball games. Like, it was phenomenal. They are a very, very, very good team. In fact, they sit 10th in offensive production on Fangraphs. 22.8% K rate, a 10% walk rate. They got 270 batting average on balls in play, 106 weighted runs created. They've got an offensive WAR of 30.4. They're a good team, a good offensive team. Pitching, they were 16th on Fangraphs. Pitching, they're 16th on Fangraphs, and the Tigers are going to be in a situation where they can avoid the Mariners' best 2 hitters. Or pitchers, not hitters, pitchers. With the wild card series coming up on Friday, Saturday, and Sunday of this week, the Tigers are going to avoid Luis Castillo and Robbie Ray. I'm almost certain of it. Even though the season finale has a to be determined for the Mariners, neither of those guys are pitching on Wednesday. I can guarantee you that they are not pitching on Wednesday. Because if they pitch on Wednesday, they will not be available for the wild card series unless they're pitching on short rest, which is possible. But then if you get past the wild card, that messes things up too. So you're not going to see their best 2 pitchers. Who the Tigers are going to see is this, situation when it comes to pitching. In Game 1, Monday night, Brian Garcia for the Tigers is going to be pitching against George Kirby. George Kirby's 8-4 on the season with a 3.21 ERA, strikes out about a batter per inning. He walks only about 1 batter per 9 innings, has a 3.27 batting average on balls in play, and a 2.89 FIP. So he's been pitching actually a lot better than even his ERA would indicate. Now, Brian Garcia is going to have to limit the walks. Because if you allow this team to get on base, this team is going to create havoc. This team is also going to hit the ball and hit the ball hard. Eugenio Suarez, just don't get me started on Eugenio Suarez, who very well could be a Tiger right now, but he's not. Eugenio Suarez, we got Julio Rodriguez, all these different guys that can just pound the baseball. So you got to make sure that you're pitching well, and when they put the ball in play, you're turning those balls into outs. Brian Garcia is going to get the start. Hopefully he can make the game competitive to give our offense a chance. The first game of a doubleheader on Tuesday, Eduardo Rodriguez is going to make his final start of the season. He's 5-5 with a 4.02 ERA. He pitched pretty well last outing. And hopefully, again, can finish the season on a high note. He's going to be facing off against Marco Gonzalez, who's 10-15 with a 4.14 ERA. He strikes only about 5 per 9 innings, walks 2.5 per 9 innings, and has a 5.15 FIP. So definitely an opportunity for the Tigers to take advantage of Game 1 of the doubleheader. In Game 2 of the doubleheader, we do not know who is pitching for the Tigers. Could be a bullpen day. This would be the spot for Matt Manning, but he obviously is out right now. That to be determined is going to be facing off against Chris Flexen, who's 8-9 with a 3.64 ERA, a 6.26 K per 9, a 3.37 walks per 9, 270 batting average on balls in play, and a 4.45 FIP, which means he's been pitching worse than what his ERA would indicate. That's going to be Game 2. You wanna find a way to at least, at minimum, split the doubleheader. Game 4, Tyler Alexander is going to be facing to be determined. Now, we know Alexander's been a little bit better since over the last few weeks. He had a rough patch there for a while, but he's corrected it a little bit, had a little bit of a rough outing in his last start. But this is going to be another situation where the Tigers can take advantage and maybe end the season with a win, because right now it's to be determined for the Seattle Mariners. And again, we go back to the reason why it's to be determined is this is most likely a slot for Luis Castillo or Robbie Ray, but it's not going to be one of those guys. If they pitch one of those guys in this series, it's almost going to be malpractice to a certain extent. These games mean nothing for the Seattle Mariners. Because here's the deal. They've locked up a wild card spot. They have a 1.5 game lead over Tampa Bay right now, which means if everything holds true, they'll be traveling to Toronto to play the Blue Jays in a 3-game series. If they end up falling to the 3rd wild card spot, they will travel to Cleveland for a 3-game series. So the question becomes, when you're facing Cleveland or Toronto, do you want to be without Luis Castillo or Robbie Ray? No, you don't. So this will most likely be some kind of spot start, some kind of bullpen game for the Seattle Mariners, and an opportunity for the Tigers to end the season with a win. You got 4 games in Seattle. Are they going to win the series? I don't know. Most likely not. But even if they split the series, and in their last 5 series of the season, they don't have a single series loss, that's good momentum going into 2023. Now, does momentum carry over from one season to the other?